r/LifeProTips top posts of the week. LPT. Instead of trying to kill a fly by hitting it, spray it with water. During the summer my house gets filled up with flies because my kids are always running in and out of the house. So I carry a spray bottle around with me. The minute I see a fly in my peripheral vision, or if it lands on something I spray it. The fly can't see the water coming the way it would see my hand or a fliswater coming. Once it gets wet its wings don't work anymore and eventually it will fall. That's when you squish it. Works every time. LPT. Pay attention to those moments where you feel most like your authentic self, what you're wearing, who you're around, what you're doing. Recreate and repeat. LPT. When hosting a dinner party for people you're not familiar with, leave a simple task until they have arrived. Like mixing salad greens or slicing bread. Invariably your guests will ask if they can help, and you can point them to these tasks as a useful icebreaker. LPT. PowerPoint slides are supposed to be simple and brief. Nobody is going to read your wall of fancy text when you give your presentation. LPT. If you've had COVID and your sense of smell hasn't fully returned, get a natural gas detector for your home. With cooler weather coming, you don't want to have a gas leak that you can't smell. Edit. For everyone saying get vaccinated, and you don't have to worry about it. I was fully vaccinated in April. Got a breakthrough case that floored me. I understand what you're saying, but there are far more respectful ways to say it. The world needs people to be more compassionate now and less judgmental. Let's not forget that many people had COVID before there was even a vaccine to get. LPT. You can move windows between monitors by using Win plus Shift plus arrow key. It's especially useful when program opens on your additional monitor and not your main one. LPT. To drastically improve an area of your life, replace one of your worst habits within that area with one thing you've heard is incredible for you. A relatively low effort act which, if applied daily, will have the greatest impact pro rata. In a group of people, if you could swap one person for another to most increase their average age, you'd replace the very youngest person with someone older than the rest. A small, but highly effective change, which affects an overall quality. Apply it in life. Food. Worst habit. Maybe for you it's chocolate, addictively sugary, fattening. Its acidic nature is bad for teeth, etc. You don't have to stop eating everything acidic and fattening. Just this. Replace it with something insanely healthy, with none of the above qualities. Downtime. Worst habit. Maybe scrolling social media. Provokes negative emotions. Addictive. Detracts from productivity. Replace 10 minutes of this a day with 10 minutes of meditation, which counteracts many of the effects of social media. Keep the commitment small, but a daily one. Don't go cold turkey and delete social media if you feel you can't. Just 10 minutes of it. Small. Polar opposite adjustments like this will quickly improve quality of life with very little investment and difficulty. Edit. This doesn't cover addiction. I've known addicts, and how tough that is. I want to emphasize that this has worked for me under the umbrella of manageable change, and hope this post doesn't read as obtuse to those with more involved dependencies. LPT. Restore original performance of iOS devices with depleted batteries by changing your region to France in settings. Thanks to litigation, Apple had to enable full performance on iOS devices in France despite battery decay. Change your device's region settings to France and you can get it anywhere. Only downside is your battery does indeed drain a lot faster, as the whole point of it was to lessen the impact of battery decay. LPT. Store potatoes and onions far away from each other. When paired together, they release gases that spoil each other faster. LPT. When calling a company to shoot off service, like your cell or broadband service, tell them I'm leaving the country, never to return as the reason. This avoid the let me transfer you to my manager to see how we can keep you as a customer endless conversation. LPT. Buy a cheap strap wrench to keep in your kitchen for hard to open jars. Especially if you live somewhere without physically strong individuals. LPT. If you need to write down passwords on paper or plain text on your computer, add a couple extra characters to the password. Like always, add a dummy character to the 3rd and 7th position. Only you know it's not part of the password. LPT, when house training your puppy, learn to use positive reinforcement rather than punishment/shaming whenever possible. If they lose some control of any bodily functions in old age, the last thing either of you will want is for them to expect punishment and feel afraid of you or ashamed. This also goes for the little accidents that can happen to any dog in their adult life. A positive trainer told our class this years and years ago, LPT, during a job interview, do not assume that you are being told the truth about the company. If you are their choice candidate, it is not uncommon for the interviewer to make the company/position look way more incredible than it is. Do your research to make sure you know what you are getting into. Edit. There are several websites that offer a glimpse into current and past employees' experiences at the company. One of the big ones is Glassdoor. Indeed and LinkedIn also can provide a little more insight into the company itself. Wait, you what, mate? You made it to the end? That is epic, mate. Do me a favor and utterly disintegrate that gargantuan subscribe button. If you don't subscribe you'll regret it, because I produce very unique content. No other YouTuber does anything like it. I'm definitely creative and capable of coming up with original ideas, considering that the content of this video was clearly not stolen from anyone. Cheers.